Alright everybody, getting ready for the Weld webinar. Okay, see if we can get some more people on the call. I'm Tom Sodland, by the way, from Weld, one of the founders and CEO. And the main webinar is hosted on uberconference, uberconference.com/weld-io. Hello, do we have Hatem here? I think we have some audio issues. I'm gonna wait a few more minutes before we start. There's more people that wanted to join us. So we're gonna see if they're gonna show up. So I think we'll get started actually. So my name is Tom Sodland. I'm one of the founders of Weld. And today we're going to build a landing page together. But before we do that, I want to show you a few projects that recently were made in Weld, just to show you a little bit of the diversity of projects that you can create in Weld. One thing we pride ourselves with is that the flexibility that Weld gives you as a creator. We do provide a few templates, but they are merely a starting point when you create something, and you can just start from scratch or you can do whatever you want. So here's a few projects. We'll start with the simpler one. Here's a personal landing page or personal web page for Sofia Norberg. She's a consultant, a management consultant and speaker, and here's her site for her business. Very simple layout. Here's a landing page for a mobile app called Sniffer. It's a dog dating app, or a social app for dog lovers actually. And they have, I think they use the landing page template that we have in Weld, but they then strayed away quite a bit from it, added their own touches and images and so on. That's gosniffer.com. And just want to check that you're seeing this. Yeah, that's good. And finally, we have mellorhythmia.com. It's in Swedish, but it's a Swedish book about music that recently launched, and they made the design from scratch in Weld. So that's it. So let's get started. I go to Weld.io and log in. Here's my projects. I have a list of templates at the top. I have my own projects down here. And today I'm just going to use the blank project actually. So I click blank project and get a new window with an empty page. And some of you have probably played around with Weld before, but I'm going to give an intro for if there's any complete beginners here. So what you see in Weld is a drawing canvas. It's a little bit like Keynote or PowerPoint. You can draw things on it. A big difference though is that you have a switch down here where you can toggle between phone and desktop. And that's for creating responsive designs, meaning designs that scale between different devices. A blank project has two layouts like this per default, but you can also create new layouts here if you want like a specific tablet layout, for instance, or a layout for really large computer monitors. That's also a good idea to create a special layout for that. So today we're going to create like a simple landing page, and to me a good site starts with images. So I'm going to go to unsplash.com and find a good image. So this fictional landing page will be for some kind of hiking expedition. So I'm gonna look for nature. Unsplash.com is one of my favorite sites, by the way, for free images. And I'm gonna scroll down here. This looks like a nice picture. So I'm gonna download that. And save it to my desktop. Oh, not like that, save. Can't save it for some reason. Oh, there we go. Call it nature.jpg. Quite a big picture. Okay, now Chrome is acting up here. While that downloads, I'm going to start with the rest of the design for the time being. So I'm going to draw a few boxes with the rectangle tool, the box tool down here, and I'm gonna find a good color. Like there's gonna be a hiking site about nature, so I'm gonna find a nice green color. So I can click the color wheel here, find this looks good, so I'm gonna use that, and I'm gonna use it for this block as well. So in Weld, you have in the color picker you have about 10 slots where you can have your own colors. Of course, you can put any color that you want with the color wheel, but you can also have like a couple of predefined slots if you don't want to reuse colors. And it's typically a good idea to have not too many colors on a website. Okay, so my picture is downloaded. So see if I can bring it in. So now it's going to take me a while to upload that. I drag and dropped it into Weld. I get this little animation going as it uploads. I can actually place the image or place the placeholder for the image while it's uploading, so I don't have to wait for it. So I'm gonna, there you go, there's the picture. Gonna align it with the align it with the box above and align the box beneath that. There aren't that many image settings you can do in Weld. Most of the things you have to do in like Photoshop or something before uploading. The big setting that you can add is this thing down here called Fit Image, and basically it tells Weld how to treat the image and the placeholder or the bounding box around it. So with Fit Image selected, the image is scaled down so it fits inside the bounding box, and with Fit Image not selected, it crops the image so it fills the entire bounding box. And typically this is the preferred setting for photos, whereas if you have a logo or an icon or something like that, vector art, you typically want the Fit Image enabled so you don't have any cropping going on. Okay, so I'll add some text to this. With the text tool, I click on the top. And by the way, if you have any questions, you can just speak up on the Uber conference. You can also tweet to Weld. You can or post in the Facebook group. So this is gonna be, I'm not too imaginative now with the name, so I'm gonna call this hiking tours. And I'm gonna left align that. And bring it in. It's gonna be like a little logo up here. And I can also use the keyboard. So a few words on positioning here. So I can drag things with my mouse, obviously, and as you can see, it snaps to other objects. Like here, it snaps to the green box down here, snaps to the image up here, and so on. If you want to disable this, you have on the grid menu, you have snap to objects. You can toggle it on off. You can also use the O button on the keyboard to toggle it on off. And also on this menu you have actually a column grid that you can toggle on, and then you see the lines appear here. So now I have 4 columns. I can change that to 3, and I can also adjust the spacing in between the columns. I can actually keep this grid on. So back to my little text logo. So I want a nicer font for that. So I'm gonna find, maybe, see what I can find here. So we use Google fonts in Weld. So there's a big library of 700 fonts. Right now we don't provide any good way of browsing through fonts. You have to search for something, like searching for script. But you do see a little preview of what the font looks like here. So I'm gonna add this caution script to the project. Like so, you see my text updating up here. And I want to change it to white and make it slightly bigger. Something like that. It clips by the bounding box. I'm going to adjust that a little bit. Okay. Something like that, overlapping the image a little bit. That looks good to me. I'm going to make this box bigger, and I'm going to duplicate that, and I can do that on the edit menu here. I have copy, paste, and duplicate. You can also do it with your keyboard with Command D or Control D on Windows. Let's see, I want it to snap properly here. Let's see if I can do that. like so and like so. Same here. That looks good. Okay, I'm gonna try a different color for the second box. Maybe some warm gray color. Something like that, I think looks good. All right, so now I want to add a video to this. So I go on YouTube, we'll search for hiking, and this video, how to pack for a day hike. That sounds good. I'm just going to copy the link to the video and then go back to Weld and open the library. And the library is a place where you find assets to bring into your project. There's 3 sections to it. There's icons at the bottom that look like this. There's objects that can be simple objects like a button to more complex objects like the YouTube player or interactive Google map and so on. And you can actually, if you know how to code, you can actually build your own objects and extend Weld in that by doing so. The third section here is called symbols, and that's like saved selections. So if you, for instance, when I reuse this hiking tour header, I can select these objects and then click create symbol, and that creates a new symbol in my library that I can reuse on multiple projects or multiple screens. But now I'm interested in adding a video player, so I'm gonna actually search for video, and you have the normal video player that plays YouTube and Vimeo videos. I'm gonna click on that, get a video object here, and then I'm gonna paste the URL I got from YouTube. So I had the video how to pack for a day hike. That's good. I'm gonna close the library to get a little more screen space. Are we still streaming properly? Yeah, looks good. Okay. And then I also want a sign up form. I go back into the library and click the little drop down here under objects. I can find forms, media players, interactive objects and so on, but I want forms. So in forms I have email contact form, I have a MailChimp object, I have a minute mailer object. A minute mailer is like MailChimp but slightly simpler. But both these require that you have an account at MailChimp.com or minutemail.com. So for this purpose I'm going to use Minute Mailer. I think I find it a bit simpler than MailChimp, especially when it comes to integrating it. And I click it and I get this form. The objects offer some customization. You're not quite as flexible yet, at least, as you are with the rest of the Weld objects and elements. I can, however, type in a color I want. I can type in blue. I can type in red. And I can change the default text and so on. Maybe I just want a black button. It of course it accepts then hex codes from the color picker if I want maybe this color that I had here. I can take that, keep that on the button. That kind of works. A little harder to read, but for this demo I think it's fine. To make Weld connect with Minute Mailer properly, you have to bring in an ID number from Minute Mailer. So I'm going to log on to my account on Minute Mailer. Here I'm logged into Minute Mailer. I go to my contact lists. And I'm going to use just a test list here and take the contact list ID here. That I need to bring into Weld. So I'm going to do that here in a minute mailer ID. I paste that number in here. And now actually my form should be working. I was a bit faster. I clicked on the preview button. Preview button in the toolbar, and now I'm watching the website exactly like a visitor would watch it. With the difference that I actually have a little button up here that says edit. I can also press escape on the keyboard to go back to edit mode. So now if I type in here tom@weld.io and subscribe, it didn't work. Why not? See if I can fix that quickly. Test list, add to website. I have the ID here. Go back to my site. Okay, let's try again. No, something's wrong here. Sorry for that. Something's wrong with the either on our side or on Minute Mailer's side. I'll make sure I'll check the what's going on and post in the Facebook group for this event about how to when it's fixed. Sorry for that. So before we wrap up, I want to do something more. I want to do this responsive. I want to make it work on a phone. So I'm gonna open my project again. And I switch to phone mode. And as you can see, it's kind of squeezed, doesn't look too great on a phone. If I want, I can actually preview this on my real phone as I'm designing it. That's a great trick and pretty really useful function. If you click the publish button in toolbar, you go to send link and then type in your phone number here. You get the link sent to your phone. You can open it up and you can edit your site and preview it live on your phone at the same time. That's pretty useful. So the key to making things responsive in Weld is something called the editing all switch. If I toggle this on, it turns red and the toolbar turns red, and everything I do now will only affect the phone layout because I was watching the phone layout. In the same way, if I click on desktop now, I'm only editing desktop. So that means I can do changes, formatting changes that only affect one layout at a time. As a general guideline, try to stay in the blue mode, editing all mode as much as you can, because it makes your project more easy to maintain across layouts. So I try to really, personally, I try to push it as far as I can with not using the red mode at all. For instance, I can just make this bounding box bigger, which doesn't affect the look on the desktop view, but it does tremendous improvements to the mobile view. But the rest of the things I do need to actually modify specifically for phone. Or, I mean, now I did this desktop first, but you can, of course, do this mobile first if you want to, and then you sort of go into red mode and you adjust the desktop view to make it look good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm toggle on phone mode, editing phone mode. I'm going to make this image smaller, and as you can see, the image scales down, but it sort of still fits into the bounding box. I'm going to bring these objects up. I'm using the keyboard. And now I need to make this a one column layout. It's 2 columns on the desktop, but on phone I need it to be just one layout, one column. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna expand this to fill the entire width, like so. And I'm gonna pull this down, the video. And also make the box taller to accommodate the there's a single column layout. Okay, so now I have a 2 column layout on desktop and a single column layout on phone. And I can, when I toggle the desktop switch in here, you can see it goes back to 2 column, pressing the phone, 1 column. And I can also try that in preview mode. So here I just make the browser window smaller, and at a breakpoint it turns into a single column layout. So, and you can also, if you want that transition to happen at a different size of the screen, for instance, you can adjust that in this layout pop-up, where you can set what the minimum width should be for the phone layout, for instance. We're about to publish this as a website, actually, but I want to do some adjustments to how it's going to be presented on the web. If I open the screens view, here is where I can see all my pages or screens in my project. I only have one for the moment. And up here I have some project settings. And here I can set the title for the project. So I'm going to call this Hiking Tours. It changes both the name and the URL here, Weld.io hiking-tours. That's now the name. And this title up here, that's also used by when you search for the website. The sort of official page title is going to be that. So you can keep that in mind as you name the project. I also have a box for a description, like find exciting hiking tours around the world. That's going to be the description when I search for this on Google. And finally I can also upload an icon, which turns into this little fab icon up here. Replaces the default blue Weld icon. Then when I want to publish, I go to the publish button in the toolbar, and I just enter a name that I want for my site. So I'll try with hiking tours. Probably taken, but let's see here. So here I can see that hikingtours.com is taken. If this was a domain that I actually owned, I could click here and get instructions on how to connect that to my custom domain that I have. It also presents .se and .de, the German site, as available for $3 a month. I can buy them if I click here. And we also offer 3 domains that are free, .ml, .tk and .ga. So they are totally free. So I can just click the .ga domain, for instance, and it starts connecting. And there, now it's connected. It usually takes a few hours before it's live because of how the way DNS works, but in a few hours this site should actually be live and available at this domain hikingtours.ga. And that sort of concludes my my brief introduction to Weld for today. I'm gonna see if I can see any questions on Twitter or Facebook before we wrap up. I think we don't have any questions so far. All right, now that's it. So thank you everybody for participating. Question mark in Weld, where you can just click it and start chatting with us. During normal office hours, we're available within a couple of minutes. Thank you so much. Bye bye.